All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome to a very special, very last minute episode of Make Greco Cry. Now, the original premise for this series is that you, the audience, are faced with the challenge of making me get emotional on the internet, which isn't the hardest thing to do. I'm a pretty big softie, especially now that I'm a dad and all of that. So you succeeded in episode one of this series. Episode two, you failed miserably. So I figured that for episode three, I'm gonna kind of rig the results, and we'll see if that holds true. So as you can see, I'm doing things a little differently now. This is actually going to be a live reading, partly because what I'm about to read is a children's story. It's not the comic book graphic novel kind of thing that you're used to seeing so far. So it's a little different and it's short, so I can read it live on air. But also, I'm feeling a little lazy with the editing, so I'm just gonna let this fly and see how it turns out. So, the book that I'm going to be reading is one of my favorite books as a child, and that is The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Um, Not gonna say too much about this book, and it's not a book that I initially thought that would give me such an emotional reaction, but I was reading this to my daughter for the first time, and I just started losing it. And the poor kid's probably like, "What's wrong with Daddy?" As I'm just like blubbering, trying to get through it. So I figured, hey, it might be fun to try to read this live on air, and hopefully, for your amusement, I'll have the same kind of emotional reaction. So, anyways, without further ado, this is my reading of The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat her apples. And they would play hide and seek, and when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much, and the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk, and swing from my branches, and eat apples, and play in my shade and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy. And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk, and swing from my branches and be happy." "I am too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife, and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house. But you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy." And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time. And when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered. "Come and play." "I am too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. After a long time, the boy came back again. "I am sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "I am too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "I am too tired to climb," said the boy. "I am sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish that I could give you something. But I have nothing left. I am just an old stump. I am sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. "Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down. Sit down and rest." And the boy did. And the tree was happy. The end. Ah, bummer. Guys, I'm sorry. I totally thought by now I'd be just bawling. I mean, again, you have to remember the first time I read this recently, or read it again, was reading it to my daughter, and I hadn't been exposed to that story in such a long time. So I guess reading it now for a second time without her, sitting in my lap, kind of took away some of the emotion. I mean, if you saw me read it just now, there was definitely parts where I was starting to well up a little bit, but I think like it just touches me in so many ways. Like, number one, like, this relationship between the tree and the boy is so one-sided. Like, I hate that boy. I hate him so much, like more than any other like literary figure in history. Um, because he just takes and takes and abuses the tree, and the tree is like just totally offering herself up to him, and just like is so selfless and gives herself away to the point where she's reduced to nothing, literally nothing. and you never hear the boy say thank you. All he's concerned about is what he needs and to make his life complete. And all the tree cares about is making him happy. So it's such a destructive relationship for one thing. And I'm sure anyone out there can relate to being part of a relationship, whether it was with someone romantically or someone you were chasing romantically, or a friendship, anything like that. Growing up, you run into some leeches out there and destructive personalities. So I think that's really relatable. And then it's the story. It's also the story of growing old, which sucks. Like I think everyone always reflects back on their childhood and wishes like they could get those years back, and how just carefree life was. Like in the beginning, the kid back when their relationship was the purest, he just would have so much fun with the tree, just like pretending and playing, king of the forest, all that sort of thing. And then as they grew up, as he became a teenager and got, that was the first, step into just completely changing as a person, maybe becoming selfish. He got a girlfriend, and you can see the first thing he did was carve their initials into the tree, like permanently disfiguring it. And then from then on, it was just this like snowball effect of, oh, now that I have a girlfriend, I need money so that I could, buy her things, and now I need a house so that I'll make myself worthy enough of marriage and children, and and then at one point he's like, "Eff it, I just want to get away from it all, so I need a boat to sail away." And then it's not till the very end when the boy, now an old man, literally has nothing, that he goes back to his tried and true friend, and he's like, I'm pretty much left with nothing, but I know that I'll always have you. So let me, before I pass on into the afterlife, let me take this moment to just take one last thing from you. And it just that's the story of just growing old. Growing old sucks. It really does. And it's funny for me being a 30-year-old man, um, talking about being old. I'm sure some of you out there that are older probably are like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like you have so much more time left in here, in this world. So um, yeah, no. So I think that's mainly why this book affected me so much. And again, I'm a little bummed out that I didn't shed some tears for you guys. I know that's kind of like the payoff for these episodes, but God, I hate that kid. All right, well, that's it for this little experiment. This was supposed to be my ace in the hole. Again, it's still a great story, and it is touching me. I don't know if it's translating in the video. Like my throat's a little welling up, so it's hard to talk, even though I'm yawning. But I was hoping that this episode would have some emotion because I did film another episode prior to this where it didn't bring out really anything in me. So I don't know if without the tears, if these videos are worth anything. But anyways, I hope you at least enjoyed the story. So yeah, so definitely watch this video before Shel Silverstein's crew comes after me for reading his entire book online. So that's going to be it for me. Peace.